So today we're going to be diving in where to move in Idaho. I'm excited for this one because it's a question I get asked a lot. There's a lot of people that love a city vibe, and there's a lot of people that love that small town charm, and there's a lot of people that just want to be away from people in general. So we're going to dive into where to move in Idaho, a little bit about the Idaho structure, and I'm very excited to do this video, so let's get to it. Welcome to or welcome back to Living in Boise, Idaho. I am your host, Naseem Eissa, and I am excited to do this video because it's a question I've been getting asked a lot lately because no one knows where to move in Idaho. So today we're gonna focus on Boise and surrounding areas in Boise. All right, guys, now before I start diving into the subject, I do want to ask you guys real quick, if you haven't already, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and turn on notifications because we'll be posting many videos just like this just for you on a weekly basis. So make sure you guys do that. Now let's talk a little bit about Idaho. So a lot of people are attracted to Boise, Idaho. Now Boise, Idaho is the capital of the state of Idaho, right? So it only makes sense why so many people are moving this direction. However, Boise is also the #1 most populated city in the state of Idaho, with surrounding areas not too far off from where Boise is. So if you like a city that's pretty open and has a bunch of things as far as restaurants, it has a lot of outdoor activities, it has just a lot overall that could add to your quality of life, then that's why a lot of people are picking to move to the Boise, Idaho area. So we're gonna dive into a couple of subjects today, and a lot of them have to do with the economy, cost of living, the real estate market, commute times, education, and a few fun facts here and there just to kind of give you guys a little bit more insight. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into the content. So one of the most important things for people moving to Idaho is going to be the economy, right? Because you want to make sure that you're coming into somewhere where you can get a job, where you can live and survive, right? So the economy in Boise, Idaho is actually booming. So as of right now, Idaho is the 6th best state economy-wise. So what does that mean for you? That means job opportunities are there. And then speaking of job opportunities, Idaho is ranked #2 in state job growth, and that is why a lot of people are relocating this way, because it's a lot easier to get a job, it's a lot easier to get a better salary, and it's just a lot better overall quality of life. With that being said, we don't see the economy slowing down. There's a lot of expansions, there's a lot of companies, corporate companies starting to build here. We have Facebook, Meta building a warehouse. Jim Reapers has also moved to Nampa, Idaho. Micron is expanding within Idaho. Albertsons is already in Idaho, which is the hub of corporate operations here. Norco is very big here, and you just have so many big companies that are starting to relocate here into Idaho because it's just expanding in so many different ways. And as far as the job growth, we're seeing a lot of technology, science and technology, health and education is a really big requirement here, and retail trade is also very huge in Idaho. So you should be able to fit into Idaho without any problems as far as finding a job and things of that nature. So with that being said, economy is strong. We're going to dive into the cost of living. Now, before I dive into the cost of living, I do want to put in there that I am a licensed real estate agent here in the state of Idaho, and I would love to help you guys as much as I love making these videos with your home buying needs. So please feel free to reach out, call, text, or email. I am the one that personally answers all phone calls and text messages and emails. All right, let's dive back into the content now. Now, cost of living in Idaho overall is going to be significantly cheaper than a lot of areas around the country. Now, typically I pick on California and I pick on Denver and I kind of pick on a lot of these bigger cities, but because truthfully, Boise and Idaho in general is a smaller state as far as population compared to a lot of other states and bigger cities, we just don't have as much traction and not as much growth, but it is growing now and it's starting to get to that point. Now, I'm not saying that's gonna happen this year, the next year, or maybe over the next few years. It may take a lot longer, but as far as growth in general, Idaho is getting there. And with that happening, cost of living is also getting more expensive. But even with all the growth, with all the things happening in Idaho, Boise, for example, is 64% cheaper than all other cities in the United States. So just overall cost of living is that much cheaper than across the entire nation, and that's what's contributing to a lot of people relocating to Idaho because it's so much cheaper. Not only is it cheaper as far as cost of living, but your income taxes are cheaper, and so are your property taxes. So what that looks like is income is taxed at a 5.8% rate, and then property taxes are at 6%. So after running some numbers and looking through some websites, what we found is that a cost of living estimation for a family of 4 average is just about $5,600 $34. And then for a single individual who is living on their own in the state of Idaho, the median estimated cost of living is going to be $3,341 a month. And that goes for both family of four and a single person. So cost of living overall is not impossible. Another big things that people are worried about is commute times. How much traffic is there in Idaho? Is it like California? Is it like Las Vegas? Is it like any of these crazy cities? No. Even in Boise, which is the most populated city in Idaho, you're still looking at shorter commute times, no longer than 26 minutes, which is actually below the national average overall. So if you have to get to work from home or if you have to run to the grocery stores, you shouldn't expect any delays. But on the contrary, I do want to be a devil's advocate and say that at 5 p.m., if you're driving anywhere in the local area, maybe on 55, or if you're driving on Interstate 84 around 5 p.m., if you're heading north on 84, you're probably going to hit a lot of traffic at the 5 p.m. mark. Not to an amount where you're adding like 30 minutes to an hour on your trip, but you may add anywhere between 5 to 10 minutes overall around those time frames. And there is also a little bit of traffic around the 7 to 8 a.m. crew for people that are waking up, dropping kids off to school and things of that nature. But overall, commute times is not a big issue here in the state of Idaho. Now, next we're going to talk about something that's very important if you have children or if you're trying to attend school and just things of that nature. We're going to talk about something very important to people who may have children, which is going to be the education system in the state of Idaho. Now, I personally don't believe Idaho necessarily ranks where it should, and I'll tell you why here in a second. Currently, Idaho ranks number 36 in the United States out of all states as far as education. And the reason for it, the biggest reason why they're ranked so low, is more so because they spend the least amount of money per student on education. So with that being said, they're not as invested. However, they're still making great strides in education, and they are doing very well on the educational side of things. But because of that, they are ranked a lot lower than a lot of other states. Now, overall, the education scene is, you're gonna have a lot of public schools, you'll have a lot of private schools, there's charter schools, there's a lot of homeschooled children. So as far as diversity when it comes to education and what types of schools there are, there's a bunch to really pick from, especially in the Treasure Valley, which is Boise, Meridian, kind of those areas. But overall, education isn't where I think it should be ranked. However, that's my personal opinion, and the professionals put it at number 36. So we're gonna leave it there, but that is the reasoning of why it's where it is. So next, we're gonna talk about the real estate market. And before we go into that, I am gonna remind you guys one more time, I am a licensed real estate agent, and I would love to help you with your home buying needs as much as I love making these videos for you. So please do not hesitate reaching out to me. You would be surprised how many people are afraid because they think I may not get back to them, but guys, I'm here for you, so please reach out. As far as median sales prices in the Boise, Idaho, and surrounding areas in Ada County, to be more specific, we're looking at a median price point of $537,000. So with that being said, houses are decently expensive. However, in the surrounding areas of Boise, you'll start to see that $535,000 price point is actually a lot less. You'll probably be able to find something more like a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house in the $400,000 price range. Now, with that being said, obviously amenities and things of that nature can make the value fluctuate. And the closer you get to Boise, or the closer you get to even Eagle, Idaho, which is a lot more expensive, but it does have a very fancy luxury kind of lifestyle in Eagle, you will see it does get a little more expensive. But with that being said, the type of houses you can find in Boise range from cute, small, charming homes to homes on the foothills, which are very beautiful, modern, and you know, there's a lot of construction going on as far as houses. Matter of fact, the inventory is so low that they're trying to ramp up house production more than ever so they could fit the very short supply that we have, because we have a significant amount of demand. So with that being said, my personal prediction for the 2024 real estate market is that the housing prices are going to continue to rise, the median sales price is going to go up, and that is simply due because we have such a tight inventory. And listing prices, we're starting to see that people are getting 97.9% of what they are asking on their listing. So as far as what homes are going for and how tight the supply is, we're predicting to see an increase as far as home prices and things of that nature. So with all that being said, where should you move, right? So this is my personal tip for you guys. If you're looking to live more city, here's a couple cities I'm gonna recommend. Look into Boise, look into Meridian. Boise and Meridian are really just the bigger cities. So those two cities are gonna be a lot bigger and give you a much bigger city feel because they're so filled with so much to do. There's skyscrapers, there's buildings being built all the time. Meridian is growing fast. Boise is growing fast. The restaurants keep growing. Speaking of restaurants growing, Meridian just got their first In-N-Out. If you're an In-N-Out fan, yes, Meridian has the first In-N-Out ever built in Idaho. There's a lot of shopping centers, there's a lot of malls and things of that nature in the cities of Boise and Meridian. Now, if you're looking for maybe a little cheaper on cost of living, but still close to the cities, then you can also look into Nampa, you can look into Caldwell, you can look into Garden City, and we're just naming a bunch of cities off here, but these are all homes that are a little more surrounding area, but still close enough to the cities where you won't be too far away from the grid. Now, if you want to go more rural, you're going to look into Star, you're going to look into Mountain Home, you can look into Emmett. All those cities are small town, have a little less population, so they're a lot shorter on the population side of things. And with that being said, there's going to be opportunities if you're looking to get more land with your home, or whatever the case may be that you're looking for as far as staying away from civilization. That's going to be better fitting for you. Hopefully that helps a little bit with where you should move in the state of Idaho in the year of 2024. And like I said, we're projecting a lot of growth in the state of Idaho. So don't feel like you're the only one making this decision, and we do help people on a day-to-day basis finding them the perfect area to move. So make sure you guys reach out to me, and if you haven't already, please make sure that you guys like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more videos just like this. Thank you guys for tuning in on another video. See you guys on the next one.